Hello and welcome again to an EA video. Right, I have got the Skyline up on an axle stand. It's been up on an axle stand for a number of days because I had a creak. On this side suspension here, and I decided to investigate. I took out the suspension unit, and what I found, unfortunately, is down here. You can see there, the boot is split on the drive shaft. Yep. Now, what that probably means is the drive shaft's worn because all the dirt and muck and everything, and it's split all the way around 360 degrees. So I think it's probably, certainly we need to change the boot, and possibly the drive shaft itself is worn. I mean, I can feel movement there on the drive shaft. Yeah, that is sliding back and forward, so it's probably worn into the diff, which means that drive shaft needs replacing. It may well have worn the splines on the diff, hopefully not, but we'll see. I've taken the opportunity to take the suspension strut out, as you can tell, and I've painted all of this on underside here, all the metalwork with black hammerite. I'm going to take the plastic cover out, pop these couple of little retaining screws and stuff, take that out and paint all the way under, and I'm debating taking out the front bumper, taking that off and just painting everything with hammerite, just covering the whole lot with hammerite just to stop the rust, seeing as I'm now going to be using this very, very sparingly till I can get that drive shaft taken out. I think what's likely to happen is the Skyline will come off the road and it will be a full nuts and bolts rebuild, because she needs a little bit of welding at the bottom, underneath, at the back. With now this drive shaft problem, the other one may well be going the same way. I think it's probably better for me to take her off the road and do a full rebuild on her. It'll delay the progress of the engine build, but that's life, I suppose. Right, it's stupidly hot out here. As you can see, the bumper is off, and I'm going to treat all these little rust spots. This bumper has never actually been off, not while it's been in my ownership anyway, and judging by the state of some of the fixings and whatnot, it's down there. I don't think it's been off for 13 odd years. It's over here. Fixings are very similar to the Stager. We've got 2 bolts in the end, then 3 bolts in the middle, very, very similar to the Stager, and then the there's little white plastic bits that these slide into, but in different to the Stager where they just slide in. There's almost a little recess, and there's a little pimple sort of affair on the white bit on the car that it slides into, and that's underneath there. You can just probably see it, and that's where it sort of sandwiches the bumper. A bit of a fiddle with a penknife to get that off without taking the headlights off, which I didn't really want to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the wing off on the side that's up on the stand, and a little bit different to the Stager. You've obviously got these bolts in there, but the Stager one you can access from this side here. On the Skyline you've got to go in from this angle, yeah, so slightly different. Just remove all the covers, which I've done obviously, and then go in from this angle. So this is going to come off, and we'll do a proper job of it, cover everything, every inch of it in hammerite to stop the spread of rust, the old tin worm. So I'm going to get on because I'm baking out here. I need to get this sorted. Evening. Alright, bumper's off, as I said earlier, and I've now painted up that support rail. I got the wing off, had to drill out the bottom hole. It was not an unusual thing. One of these 2 holes, it was this one here, the bolt snapped, so drilled it out. I'll just hold the wing on with a bolt, nut and a couple of washers when I refit it. But as you can see, this is all now tidy, covered in black hammerite, just hammerited everywhere that I can get to. And a little bit of a discovery, the knocking sound. I mentioned earlier about the fact that the drive shaft into the diff is making a noise, but when you drive along, the knocking was slightly different. I just moved the suspension up and down. You can hear the knocking from there, and I believe it's coming from this bit. These 2 bolts here, and probably the bushes in here, are worn. Yeah, so I'll investigate that, because I think we're getting some side to side movement, in that sort of direction, backwards and forwards. Too much play in the bushes. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it's the original suspension units and everything. Obviously that split boot does need addressing and does need sorting out, but I think that knocking that you can hear there from the top is probably more of what I've been hearing going along the road. So I'm going to continue on. What I've done with the wing, there's a rust trap on these cars. We had the same on the Stager down here. This is the front wing, obviously reversed, and this is the inside of the front wing. So I've cleaned all this up and just hammerite, very, very rough coat, hammerite on the inside of the wing to stop it rusting where it contacts the car. And I'm obviously going to put the wheel arch liners back in just for the rear. I don't run wheel arch liners at the front because with those wheels on full lock on this side, it rubs on the wheel arch liner. So I'm not going to put the front ones in, but I'll put the back ones in just to stop it chucking muck at the door hinges. So there you go. That's where we're at the moment. Stage has just been sat watching, and I'll keep you posted. Bye for now. Alright, so much for that plan. I have the big bolt out there, and I've undone the suspension arm, and I was expecting some movement in this part up the top here, there, but there's absolutely nothing in there. That is solid as a rock. So there's no movement there sideways, and this bush here looks to be in reasonable nick. So the only thing I can suggest is that it is the movement of that drive shaft down there that is going in and out with the suspension, that because of the looseness that's causing a rocking, causing a knocking within the suspension unit. So unfortunately, back to square one. All this lot, all the shiny pink stuff and the brake disc and everything's all got to come off. Oh joy. Never mind. Onward we go.